Convolution sum considering signals of infinite duration. Let us understand this by considering example. Yn is equal to 1 by 2 raised to n u of n minus 2 convolved with u of n. So there are two signals. One signal is 1 half raised to n u of n minus 2 convolved with another signal un. Before we proceed, let us assign one of the signal as xn. So let xn be 1 by 2 raised to n u of n minus 2 and let hn be u of n. So we are going to find the output yn by convolving the signal xn with signal hn. Following the procedure of convolution, the very first step is you replace n by k and resketch the signals with the new representation calling the signal as x of k and h of k. To obtain x of k, we need to first of all obtain u of n minus 2. So here is your shifted unit step signal. So we know unit step signal is a signal which is existing, which is a complete right-handed signal which exists from 0 to infinity with all the samples having magnitude 1. When you shift the signal by 2 units, the signal starts from 2 and extends to infinity. So this is your unit step signal shifted by 2 units. What do we want as xn? Xn is obtained by multiplying 1 by 2 raised to n into u of n minus 2. So the magnitude of this unit step signal is no more 1 now. The magnitude is governed by this factor 1 by 2 raised to n. So how do we find the overall xn now? Which we call as xk by replacing n by k. So the signal is called x of k now. So the unit step signal starts at a position at time instant 2. So here n is 2. Here your n is 2. With respect to k representation, your k is 2. So it becomes 1 by 2 raised to k. So with k value 2, the magnitude becomes 1 by 4. Now the magnitude is not 1 anymore. When we multiply 1 by 2 to the shifted unit step signal, the magnitude is 1 by 4. At 3, when I put k as 3, it is 1 by 2 raised to 3. So it means that it is 1 by 8. Similarly, if I go ahead, what do we observe? That the magnitudes go on decreasing. The magnitude of each and every sample goes on decreasing, and hence the final sketch of x of k are the samples which start at 2 and which start to have a magnitudes which decrease with a factor of 1 by 2 raised to k. So these are the samples which contribute to x of k. Now let us find h of k. H of k is having all samples of 1. Why? Because h of k is a unit step signal with magnitude 1. H of k is a unit step signal with all the samples having magnitude 1. What do we observe? Both these signals are infinite in duration. Given the signals, both these signals are infinite. X of k is also an infinite duration signal represented by these dots. H of k is also an infinite duration signal represented by these dots. So we are going to find the convolution of two infinite duration signals. Let us proceed to step number 2. In step number 2, we are going to obtain h of minus k. As per convolution steps, we need to take reversal of one of the signals. So let us say we obtain the convolution of h of minus k. So h of minus k is the reversal of the h of k signal with all the samples having magnitude 1, but their position is now folded across the axis h of k. So we have all the signals reversed with magnitudes unchanged. The magnitude remains 1. So this is your time reverse signal. The very next step is to shift this time reverse signal by n units. We are going to shift this signal by n units. The shifting is advancing of the signal. So we are shifting by plus n units. It means that we are going to shift this signal by n units to the left hand side. We are going to advance this signal. To show a proper shift in the signal, we need to give a proper representation indicating the shift. So let us say that we are considering this particular sample which is at 0. So if this particular sample shifts to the left hand side by n units where it would appear, so this sample at 0 given a shift of n units will appear at a position at a time instant n, because the shift is n units. Since the sample is at 0, given a shift of n units, this particular sample will appear at a time instant n. Rest all the samples follow sequentially later this sample. So this n tells us that there is a shift in the signal of by n units. So this is the shifted signal h of n minus k. Once we obtain the two signals x of k and h of n minus k, now the next step in convolution is to find the overlap between the two signals. So we are going to find the overlap between the two signals x of k and h of n minus k. So x of k is fixed signal which we have already obtained, and h of n minus k is the signal that we are going to shift on x of k. So when we are going to find the overlap between the two signals, we need to formulate the cases in which we consider the different regions of overlap between the two signals. Let us formulate the first case in which we say that n is less than 2. Why is it so? Because when we look at the signal x of k starts at a time instant 2. So if we place this particular signal, if we place this signal h of n minus k anywhere less than 2, if we place this signal h of n minus k such a way that this shift in the signal is in a position where n is always less than 2. So we start this n anywhere less than 2, there will definitely be no overlap between the two signals. So with this particular case, the region of x of k that we covered is right from minus infinity to the sample which is less than 2. So with this particular case, we have covered the overlap between these two signals that covers the area from minus infinity to a sample which is less than 2. So with this area of overlap between the two signals, we observe that as there is no overlap, the resultant convolution yn between the two signals is 0, as the two signals do not overlap. So for this particular case, the result is yn is 0 for all the region n less than 2. If we place this signal anywhere less than 2, these two signals will never overlap, and hence the resultant convolution for this particular case is always 0. So yn is 0 for n less than 2. Let us formulate the next case. The next case is formulated by shifting this signal. So we are going to shift this particular signal and cover the next area of x of k. Case number 2 is shown here. So case number 2 is obtained by shifting h of n minus k signal. Here the case which is formulated is for the region n greater than equal to 2. So we are going to place this sample anywhere in the area from 2 to plus infinity. To n greater than 2 means we are covering all the region of x of k. We are going to overlap these two signals for all the region from n from 2 to plus infinity. So this way we covered the area. In this case we are covering the region of overlap between the two signals that covers the area from 2 to up to plus infinity. In the first case, we covered the region from minus infinity to up to the sample less than 2. In the second case, the overlap is covering the region which covers from 2 to up to plus infinity. So with these two cases, we are covering entire overlap between the two signals. There cannot be any more case after this, because there is no region left which is uncovered, which is not overlapped between the two signals. In the first case, we covered the region from minus infinity to a sample less than 2. In the second case, we covered from 2 to up to plus infinity. All the region of overlap we are covering in case 2. So this is the last case which covers the entire overlap between the two signals. Let us see what is the result of this particular case. So when yn is equal to minus infinity to infinity xk h of n minus k, this is a convolution equation. So this convolution equation gets modified for this particular case. For n greater than equal to 2, we have shown the overlap between the two signals. So the overlap starts from the sample 2. Prior to that, there is no overlap as this signal is 0. So as this signal starts at 2, the overlap begins from 2 and it extends to where you place your n. So if you place your n at this position, only these samples are overlapping. If you place your n at this position, then the region of overlap would be 2 to where you place your n. So n decides the terminating point of overlap. 2 decides the starting position of the overlap. So this region of overlap governs the limit of the convolution. This region of overlap decides the limits. So the limits get modified, which was earlier minus infinity to plus infinity, gets modified to 2 to n, right? Region of overlap governs the limit. So identify the region of overlap for the case that you formulate, and this region of overlap is nothing but the limits of the convolution. Now you identify what is your x of k, you identify your h of n minus k. So what is h of x of k? X of k is 1 by 2 raised to k. Why is it 1 by 2 raised to k? So you can go back to your input problem. So your input problem was, we assumed x of n to be 1 by 2 raised to n u of n minus 2. In the very first step, we are representing this signal as x of k. So this signal is no more x of n, we are representing as x of k. So if the signal, when it is represented as x of n, is 1 by 2 raised to n, then when we represent it as x of k, it must be 1 by 2 raised to k. So x of k, when we now substitute in the convolution equation, is 1 by 2 raised to k. Magnitude of unit step signal is always 1. So this is 1. So x of k is 1 by 2 raised to k. So this is what we substitute into the equation of convolution, and we replace x of k by 1 by 2 raised to k. Whereas what is h of n minus k? H of n minus k is a unit step signal with all the samples having magnitude 1. Hence h of n minus k is 1. Now we need to solve this convolution, this summation equation. We need to simplify this convolution, this summation. How do we solve this summation? So for that, very first step is we'll try to rearrange the summation. We'll rearrange this summation by making an arrangement in the limits. We'll change the limits from 0 to n. So instead of the summation which is 2 to n, we are rearranging it and changing the limits from 0 to n. So limits are now 0 to n, 1 by 2 raised to k. So when we did this additional change in the limits, these change in the limits must be compensated. So what compensation is needed here? To make this 0 to n, we have inserted two additional values of k. And those two additional values of k which were absent in the original summation was k as 0 and k as 1, because this summation starts from 2. And the additional values which we have inserted when we changed it from 0 to n are the k values, which is 0 and 1. And hence we subtract these two summation values 0 and 1, these two k values, from this summation. we are subtracting these k values, k as 0 and k as 1 from the summation that we have rearranged 0 to n. This is similar to expressing the summation as 2 to n. Now we need to simplify these two summations. The next summation, when we are saying here k is equal to 0 to 1, can be expanded for the various values of k. So first expansion with k is equal to 0 turns out to be 1 by 2 raised to 0. Expanding it for the second value, 1 by 2 raised to 1. So this summation is having two values for k as 0, k as 1. The first summation 0 to n 1 by 2 raised to k can be solved using the summation identity. The summation identity for finite summation is given as k is equal to 0 to n, a raised to n is 1 by a raised to n plus 1 upon 1 minus a. So if this identity fits exactly to the summation which is as shown. Using this identity, we can represent this particular summation as 1 minus 1 by 2 raised to n plus 1. Here a is 1 by 2. Here a is 1 by 2. So 1 minus 1 by 2 raised to n plus 1 divided by 1 minus a is 1 by 2. And the answer of these particular values of expansion is 1 by 2 raised to 0 becomes 1. 1 by 2 raised to 1 is 1 by 2. So simplifying this particular equation, we get yn. The entire simplification is shown here systematically. We get yn to be 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 raised to n. So simplifying this particular summation, simplifying the equations, cross multiplying and simplifying, we get the value of yn to be 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 raised to n. And this is a result for the region n greater than equal to 2. This was the region where we have shifted the signal h of n minus k and placed it for the region n greater than equal to 2. So with these two cases, we have found the complete overlap between the two signals. Once we complete the region of overlap and get the results, now collectively write your results. So yn is 0 for the case when n is less than 2, whereas yn is 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 raised to n for the case when n is greater than equal to 2. This is how we do convolution of infinite duration signals. Let us understand one more problem. Now before we go to the next problem, we'll understand convolution obeys commutative law. What is commutative law? We know convolution is given by the equation xn convolved with hn. We have always taken it as xn convolved with hn. So with this particular representation, the equation of convolution is k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of k into h of n minus k. But convolution obeys commutative law. It means that the result of xn convolved with hn is similar to hn convolved with xn. This commutative law says that if you convolve xn with hn, the result will be similar to if you convolve hn convolved with xn. Both results into the similar output. So with respect to hn convolved with xn, the modification in the convolution equation is k goes from minus infinity to plus infinity hk into x of n minus k. So in this case, it means that we are keeping h of k fixed, whereas we are going to shift and overlap x of k on h of k. In the earlier case, we kept x of k fixed and shifted and overlapped the signal h of k. In this case, if we are representing the signal as h of n convolved with x of n, in that case we keep h of k fixed and shift and overlap x of k on this signal. Any way you solve the problem, the result is same. The result of convolution is same. So we can adopt any of this convolution equation to simplify the problem. In many cases, if we go for this particular equation wherein we keep xk fixed and hk and x of k being shifted and overlapped on h of k, sometimes the problem becomes simpler to solve it. Both the representation results in same result. So let us apply this commutative law to simplify this particular problem wherein yn is xn convolved with hn, xn is u of n, h of n is 3 by 4 raised to n, u of n minus 2. The moment we see unit step signals in both the signals xn and hn, we understand that both are infinite duration signals. Both these signals are infinite in duration because unit step signal is an infinite duration signal. Let us go for xn. The very first step is replace x by k. So we call the signal as xk and h of k. We call the signal as xk and h of k. So xk is having all the samples of magnitude 1 extending from 0 to infinity. Whereas h of k is first of all a unit step signal which is shifted. So unit step signal if shifted will start from 2 and extend to infinity. So this signal starts at 2 and extends to infinity. This particular signal is now having a magnitude which is governed by 3 by 4 raised to n. So this signal is governed by magnitude 3 by 4 raised to n. So the unit step signal which starts at 2, right? So at 2, the magnitude would be 3 by 4 raised to 2. At 3, the magnitude would be 3 by 4 raised to 3. At 4, it would be 3 by 4 raised to 4. And all these values give us the samples which are decreasing in magnitude. So the resultant sketch of h of k is it starts from 2 and extends to infinity with the samples decreasing in magnitude governed by the factor 3 by 4 raised to k. Following the convolution procedure, we are going to take the time reversal of one of the signals. Here, we are going to do time reversal of x of k. So we are going to keep h of k fixed, whereas we are going to shift and overlap x of k on h of k. The next step is to obtain time reversal of h of k. X of k. So we did time reversal of x of k giving the signals which are extending from minus infinity to 0. Next step is to give a shift to the time reverse signal. We are going to shift the time reverse signal by n units that result in a signal called x of n minus k. So we are shifting x of minus k by plus n unit. It means that this signal is going to shift to the left hand side by n units. To show that we have shifted the signal by n units, let us look at the sample at 0. So the sample at 0 when shifted by n units will appear at a position n. So this signal shifted by n units to the left hand side will start at the time instant n. Rest of the samples following the first sample. So this signal now indicates that with respect to the original signal, the signal is shifted by n units to the left hand side. Step number 4 is now to start the overlap between the two signals h of k and x of n minus k. So we are going to take the overlap of these two signals. H of k is fixed, whereas we are going to shift and overlap x of n minus k on h of k. Let us formulate the cases such that we cover the entire region of h of k. The cases should be formulated in such a way that all the region of h of k is covered. Let us go for the first case when n is less than 2. Why is it 2 here? Because the signal h of k starts at 2. So the very first overlap happens when this signal is shifted and brought to a position 2. But if it is placed anywhere less than 2, definitely there will not be any overlap between the two signals and the resultant convolution for this region is 0. So yn is 0 when you place this signal x of n minus k anywhere between n less than 2. So if you placed it anywhere less than 2, the resultant convolution is 0. Let's move to step number 2. Let us now cover the region where there is overlap between the two signals. So the next case is formulated with n greater than equal to 2. So this signal is shifted, x of n minus k is shifted, and the sample, this particular sample is placed anywhere in the region n greater than equal to 2. So if this n is placed anywhere in the region from 2 to plus infinity, there is definitely overlap between the two signals. So we now, with this particular case, the region which is covered is the area from the sample 2 to up to plus infinity. N can extend up to infinity. So the region of overlap is, the region covering is from the sample 2 up to plus infinity, covering all the region of h of k. So with this case, we cover entire overlap between the two signals. So case 1 and case 2 together are covering the entire region of overlap between the two signals, and hence this forms the last case. There will not be any further case for overlap. So with this particular case, let us identify first the region of overlap. So what is the region of overlap between the two signals with the condition n greater than equal to 2? Clearly, the region of overlap starts at a sample 2, starts from the sample 2 and extends to where we place n. So if the n is placed here, because the signal terminates after n. So if the n is placed here, the region of overlap is the samples that overlap from the time instant 2 to where we place n. So if the n is placed in this particular area, more the number of samples will be covered. Right? So n decides where we stop the overlap. The time instant 2 is the starting instant of overlap. So the region of overlap is from 2 to n. So this region of overlap governs the limit of the summation. So we'll replace the in the convolution equation, which goes from minus infinity to plus infinity for the case n greater than equal to 2. Let us modify the limit with the region of overlap. K goes from 2 to n. Let us substitute the magnitude of h of k and x of n minus k. H of k is 3 by 4 raised to k. H of k is 3 by 4 raised to k, whereas x of n minus k is 1. X of n minus k is 1. So x of n minus k is 1. H of k is 3 by 4 raised to k. To simplify this summation, let us rearrange the summation. So we rearrange the summation with changing the limits from, instead of 2 to n, we modified the limit as 0 to n. We modified the limit instead of 2 to n to 0 to n. When we did this modification, the additional values that got inserted in this summation are the values of k when k takes a value 0 and 1. The summation begins at 2. To adjust it from 0 to n, forcefully we have inserted k is equal to 0 and k is equal to 1 values of 3 by 4 raised to k into the summation. So we compensate by subtracting these values of k. So this adjustment is similar to the original summation. So simplifying, expanding the second summation with the k values. So 3 by 4 raised to 0 plus 3 by 4 raised to 1. So we expanded this summation putting the k values. The first summation k is equal to 0 to n fits into the identity we just discussed. K is equal to 0 to n. A raised to n is 1 minus a raised to n plus 1 by 1 minus a. So using this summation identity, we modify the first summation. Here a is 3 by 4. So using this identity, 1 minus 3 by 4 raised to n plus 1 upon 1 minus 3 by 4. So using this identity, we modified the first summation. We simplified the summation using the form as shown in the identity. Simplifying this summation equation, we have simplified the entire summation equation. The result of this particular case of overlap turns out to be 9 by 4 minus 3 into 3 by 4 raised to n. So for this particular case, for n greater than equal to 2, the result of convolution is given as 9 by 4 minus 3 into 3 by 4 raised to n. The entire procedure of simplification is as shown here. At the end, you can collectively show the yn result. So yn is 0 for the case n less than 2 and yn is this for the case n greater than